Where is Pedro Pascal in The Mandalorian and Grogu? The Mandalorian and Grogu's marketing is already underway, but Pedro Pascal is seemingly nowhere to be seen. The story of The Mandalorian and Grogu is an important one for Lucasfilm, as it is the first theatrical Star Wars project since 2019's The Rise of Skywalker. This will only lead to more upcoming Star Wars movies, like Sean Levy's Star Wars, Starfighter. The Mandalorian and Grogu is a good starting point for Lucasfilm's renewed cinematic journey, especially due to the popularity of the show on which it is based. As far as Star Wars TV shows go, The Mandalorian is undoubtedly one of the most successful from a viewership perspective. The star power of Pedro Pascal is a big reason for this, yet neither the posters nor trailers for The Mandalorian and Grogu have featured the actor thus far. This raises the question of where Pascal is, and whether he will be physically present in the upcoming movie at all. The only appearance by Pascal in The Mandalorian and Grogu's marketing so far has been in a voice capacity. Since The Mandalorian began in 2019, Pascal has voiced the titular character, despite a main plot point being that he rarely removes his Mandalorian helmet. This has meant that, although Pascal has always been heard as the character, he has rarely been seen as him. This trend is seemingly continuing with The Mandalorian and Grogu. All pieces of marketing for the 2026 Star Wars film have been absent of Pascal's face, with the first trailer only featuring one voice line from the actor. None of the posters have featured a helmetless Din Djarin either, meaning Pascal has been predominantly absent from the film's promotional material. Another question this raises about The Mandalorian and Grogu is whether Pascal will be on set, in the suit, for the movie. This was rarely the case in the first 3 seasons of The Mandalorian. Pascal would only be wearing the suit on days when his character's face would actually appear, which happened once in The Mandalorian Season 1's finale and twice in The Mandalorian Season 2. It was more common for Pascal to be present on set in The Mandalorian Season 1, but this has slowly dwindled over time. In The Mandalorian Season 3, for instance, Pascal was not present on set at all, due to the story taking a different direction with his character. Din Djarin remained in his helmet the entire time, with Pascal only providing voice work. Where The Mandalorian and Grogu is concerned, Pascal has at least been confirmed to have been on set a few times. A behind-the-scenes reel shown at Star Wars Celebration 2025 confirmed that Pascal was in the Mandalorian armor, though to what extent remains to be seen. For the most part, Pascal's voice work will likely be his main responsibility in The Mandalorian and Grogu. This means that The Mandalorian's main stunt performers will be in the suit most of the time during the movie, as they were for large portions of the show's 3 seasons. Lateef Crowder and Brendan Wayne have been responsible for the physical depiction of Din Djarin since 2019, in both action sequences and dramatic scenes. Of course, Pascal has done some physical work on the show and will do more for The Mandalorian and Grogu. Given all evidence, though, such as the direction of the story, the character arc of Din Djarin, and the limited time Pascal has spent in the suit previously, it can be assumed that most of the character's time in The Mandalorian and Grogu will be portrayed physically by Crowder and Wayne. The limited time Pascal has spent as the face of The Mandalorian, and The Mandalorian and Grogu, represents how Star Wars has somewhat failed Pascal by not capitalizing on his star power. Since his rise to fame in Game of Thrones, Pascal has starred in some major Hollywood productions. He has played roles in big TV shows like Narcos and The Last of Us, all while appearing in tentpole Hollywood blockbusters like Gladiator II, The Fantastic Four, First Steps, and the upcoming Avengers, Doomsday. Pascal is undoubtedly one of the most recognizable male stars in Hollywood today, meaning The Mandalorian and Grogu should be placing him front and center of its marketing. However, the film is not doing so, outside of him being the top-billed cast member on posters and other marketing materials. This is not to say that future trailers will not make use of Pascal, but it is hard to see how this will be the case without changing a major aspect of his character. This means that the film itself would need to give Din Djarin a strong enough arc that he removes his helmet for extended periods of time without feeling unearned. If The Mandalorian and Grogu does so, the film can capitalize on Pascal's star power. If it does not, Pascal's popularity and talent will go to waste. Either way, it is a widely accepted fact that the film should try to utilize Pascal where possible. As already alluded to, a big reason behind the lack of Pascal being physically involved in The Mandalorian is the direction the character has been taking. The first 2 seasons of the show seemed to set up an arc that would de-radicalize Din Djarin, moving him from the dogmatic creed of the Children of the Watch, which was the main reason he never removed his helmet, to something else. That said, The Mandalorian Season 3 walked back on this, not featuring the exploration of zealotry in the way many expected. It is worth noting that this could have been due to Pascal's availability and aforementioned popularity in other franchises. Even still, The Mandalorian's handling of Din Djarin's central arc has been less than satisfying since the ending of Season 2. Hopefully, this means that the Mandalorian and Grogu will lean back into this character arc and resolve Star Wars' Din Djarin problem. This way, the character will revert to an arc that is much more thematically compelling than it was in The Mandalorian Season 3, all while adding in a much bigger dose of Pedro Pascal and utilizing his star power.